Hi, John.
On the part where you're supposed to keep the data when you go back, I'm a little hung up on that part. Do you have to save the session, or is it better to just find a way to mechanism go back like the browser goes back? Functionality.
Save the data when you go back. And just pass them the codes to the same page that you're on.
Pardon?
Pass. I'm not following what you need to refill out
the bar's filled out on
yeah.
that. Go to the next page for validation because it's there.
Yeah.
So now I felt given the option to go back to the page.
That's all the data. Oh, when you go back, you're going to have to post it again back to the other page.
I go back, yeah, I go to that page and it's all gone.
I don't know if I did it the right way, but I just kept passing the data and then created another variable with the flag so it entered the form the first time. They didn't know it was a new form and it wouldn't fill it in and then the second time because I threw a flag or a variable where I would pass the data again and then fill in the PHP code.
Yeah, today I was looking up how to do a PHP go back, if I just go back button on the browser.
Oh,
they did talk about it.
yeah, that's interesting because everything's happening on the browser and on the server. So it wouldn't be when it went to that. Oh, just on your page,
Right.
not on your browser.
No.
Yeah.
And now, and I remember there was functionality to that because in ASP, when you come into the page, you can respond where it lists the replays tonight.
Yeah, I wonder if that would be needed to do like a must read, where it knows if it's the first time.
Yeah.
There's so many things that I don't know about PHP that would surprise me if it was.
That's why they're looking for it, that replay.
I wonder if that'd be a good thing.
Okay, here we go. So, hello everybody.
Hi.
Happy end of September. Yes. End of summer. Happy fall. So let's talk about PHP. Now, I just want you to know that you're not the only one that fights with PHP. I spent several hours working on next week's homework to get a server to work with it. So, and calling GoDaddy, and they tell me, yeah, I guess go do this. And finally, I found some obscure guy talking about something else out on the web. Happened to say, oh, and on my GoDaddy account, I had to turn off Fast CGI, disable Fast CGI on my GoDaddy account to get HTTP authentication to work. So I did that, and voila, it works. But GoDaddy wouldn't tell me that. Okay, but we'll get into HTTP authentication tonight. If I have to say that too many times, I probably will stumble over my tongue. So, but let's first assignment 4 is kind of done. Assignment 5, people are working on. It's due tomorrow. I mentioned to Jeff yesterday. Virtual yesterday, which was last Monday. Jeff asked, well, how do I know what, what are in these global variables, these global variable arrays, and what's set up? Well, and I told him, and I'm not sure I got around to everybody. And then someone else asked a question about their page not working, and I happened to use that same technique to debug it, and told it to them. So I thought maybe I ought to tell it to everybody. It's basically, if we go to our site, I created a page in and you can put it any place on your site. I just called it phpinfo.php. And I'll show you the program in a second. It's the shortest program in the world. Okay, and it creates the longest page in the world. The program looks like this. So that's the whole page, is that. Just open the PHP brackets, call the function PHP info, it's a function, semicolon, and then close. That's all you have to do. But then I think the second hard thing about this is don't get scared of all this stuff it gives you. It will give you a lot of stuff about the server, and probably three-quarters to 98% of it you won't understand, but some of it you will, and so and it will tell you things. So here it's some of the things I was fussing with GoDaddy were some of these how these globals were set, trying to get them set correctly, and I could use this function to understand how these globals were set. Well, some of the ones that you may use more regularly is down here, closer to the bottom, is you getting dizzy yet? Environment and PHP variables. That's probably one that you might like, because it's the problem that someone asked me about was my page isn't working. It looks like all my SQL is right, but I hit the add button and nothing gets added. What's the heck's going on? And he'd gone to the version with the is set and that kind of stuff. So he was wondering why the heck it wasn't working. Well, in his case, all I did is I put the PHP info function right at the top of his page, right where, right before the if is set under $_post and then the name of the variable. I put it right before that, and so it showed me all the variables that he had available to him, and it showed me the $_post variable, and he was testing for submit with a lowercase s in the front. This one didn't have a post, so it doesn't show that, but he was testing for a lowercase s in the submit, and his form had an uppercase s in it. So that's why it was always failing. But this was an easy way to tell what was going on in that case. We're going to start using some of the values out of _server tonight. So you can see there are a bunch of things you can find in here. One of the things I'm going to show you is, there are two different ways to do what's called HTTP authentication. And one of the ways, you need to know where your files are located by a full path. And you can find that like right here. Script file name. That's where your script is located on the GoDaddy computer, is on that path. I need you to know that. So there's lots of information here. Don't let it scare you. If you're wondering what's going on with your program, this might be helpful, along with just echoing things. Some folks they write their program and then they don't want to perturb it, and they're afraid to put stuff in there that's just temporary. But I just need to encourage you, put echoes in there and echo variables out, and a lot like we were talking about one of the first couple nights, just for debug, and you can take them out later. when everything's working. Yeah, go ahead.
You mentioned
Stephen?
globals, and I was wondering maybe if you could talk about scope sometime.
Okay.
I created a function and then ran into the problem of the variables weren't there because, and if I put the global in, I would have got a string this big and it seemed to be a waste of time. So instead of doing a function, I just put it right in code. So,
Yeah, I have a buddy at work that created a website for his nonprofit. It's going to collect signups for something, and he did it in PHP. And he's a real object-oriented type of guy. You know, he does everything that way. We're going to talk about functions later on. There's a chapter on functions. We're going to talk about it, and we're going to make up our own chapter on object-oriented PHP and talk about that. But one of the issues he had, where he bailed out, kind of like what you did, all the globals go away when you're inside a function. There's a way of bringing them in with global statements or passing them into the functions, but they're just not automatically there, like you're used to having them in your own code. So we'll talk about that more kind of when we get to functions and using them as well as object-oriented stuff. Okay. Justin was just talking about how do I test. He was doing the database locking, and basically got his. It looked like it worked. I mean, it didn't blow up. All the locking went through, and everything got added to the database. But it was difficult to create the situation where two web browsers would collide. Well, the reason it's difficult to create that situation is because, well, it's kind of for two reasons. One of them is, on purpose, we're making that lock short duration. We don't want it to be there very long. We don't like lock it and go away and come back later. We want it to be short during just the duration of that PHP script, so that your database doesn't get slowed down and people get blocked by all the updates. And so he did some tricks, like I just didn't do the unlock, trying to force it into an error condition. But I think PHP or MySQL or both were in the background cleaning up after him. And so when your script goes away, it did a database close and released the lock, and it was gone. The one way he was able to actually get his browser to pause was to do the lock through MySQL Workbench, which is just going to hang there. You know, it's just going to leave it open as long as you're there. So you do a command in MySQL Workbench. There's no PHP engine behind it and all that kind of thing. So you do a lock, it's just going to stay locked. There may be some timeout, but it will stay locked a long time. And that did pause his browser. So I think that's probably a pretty good test. Okay. Any other questions on assignment 4 or assignment 5? Yeah, Tim?
So, when I change page, if I have for everything for checking the end or something, let's just actually modify it. So I lose the get, which is the ID that I passed in with the gets.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, so I have a listing page and then a change.
Okay, change link, and you pass over the ID with that. Mm-hmm.
And after, so if it was an error the first time around, I seem to lose the ID. It's not in the get global array anymore. Is there anything that makes it go away?
Well,
the self, the fact that it's posting to itself, self-referencing, do anything. I don't know. I'm losing it for some reason. Even if I save it off.
Well, yeah, that's the hard thing about these PHP scripts. You can't really save it off because every time you come back, you're new. It's like you're born again. Every time you come back, you're starting fresh.
I'm not leaving the page.
Well, you're not leaving the page, but you're leaving the script. So as soon as that page gets painted down on the browser, your script is gone. And all the variables that it had, anything it remembered is now history.
Borrow from Jenny.
Yeah. So the only way to get it back is either through a post. When you do your edits, okay, they've done a post on that page, right? They've had to hit submit to get it back up to your. Yeah, it had to get posted back up, and you've gotten that post data back up to your script, okay, so that you could edit it and make sure everything was blank and all that kind of thing. Well, some of the data that goes down to the web browser and comes back up has to be the ID. That's how it's typically done, and it can be put in a. If you don't want, some of the pages have shown the ID. Just put it in the table, put it in with everything else there, and they'll make it so that a person can't change it. They'll make it read-only, so they can't change it, but it'll be there, and it's in the post when it comes back up. So when you get a post from that in that script, you just read it out of the $_ post. You get the ID, and now you're back. You have your ID. You can now update the database.
Something, yeah. So I have it in the hidden field.
Oh, you do have it in hidden. Are you getting the ID? So you don't get the ID with the $_ get. That gets it out of the URL. It's not there anymore. You have to get it out of the $_ post because it was posted from the form.
All right. The second question I have is after sort of if they do commit the change, they confirm change, then I just want to go automatically back to the list.
Yeah, you asked the question about redirecting.
Right.
Yeah.
The only thing I've come up with, I'm sure this is probably basic, it's nothing, I don't know, but the only thing I've come up with is a jQuery script that I found on a page somewhere with a force type.
I think.
You can go back to that another page.
Yeah, some people put press continue to continue or press here to continue, so they'll kind of they won't do it automatically.
Just create a link back to the page.
Right. But yeah, you have to have one extra click to do that, right?
Well, you just create an HTML link.
Okay.
What that's all your data in there, right? You can do it.
How do you action
Look at anything.
He wants it to happen automatically. He wants to redirect back to the list automatically after 5 seconds. I saw one of your guys' pages do that.
All of my pages do that for the Ajax, but it's all just jQuery, and they're
Right.
really simple to manage.
Yeah, I found a jQuery.
There's an Ajax, I got it for $1.99.
Is there a simple HTML?
Well, HTML would be the simplest and only way in HTML until you go to JavaScript or jQuery.
Yes, but I can't remember what's the
Yeah,
other.
but that happens on the server, so there's no response.
Yeah, but you just save it, right? So yeah, you would.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
so
select
go over, execute your script, and the last line would be, hey, go here. And then send you back to.
Well, what he wants to do is he wants to paint a browser screen, okay, and leave it up for 5 seconds, and then have it go someplace else.
I don't really care about the 5 seconds. I just want to commit onto the.
Well, you want to show them that it worked, right?
Yeah, I mean, they can go back.
Well, if you don't care about the 5 seconds, all you do is redirect them into another page.
This one.
Well,
I'm looking that up right now, and it's what I found is,
There's two different ones in Ajax, or two different ones in jQuery to do it. There's one that redirects the page, one that's a post, one that's a get, one that's an Ajax, and all four of them are redirects you. I think they need the syntax off right off.
Yeah, the jQuery is not
That's
simple.
the
It's not
simplest, easiest, fewest lines of code. It'll be about 3 lines of code.
Hi, Clark.
One line.
yeah, Clark, he wants to, in his PHP script, he wants to kind of automatically redirect to another page after he's updated the database.
refer.
That's the one that'll just refer you to, switch you to a page.
Yeah.
No data along with it. It'll just redirect your page instantly.
Okay.
HTTP refer.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you could, so in your PHP script, you could just send that down, and it will just redirect the browser to another page.
And you have to include the jQuery library, a link to the jQuery library somewhere else in the tool.
The HTTP referral?
Oh, no, this is a jQuery, right?
Yeah, no, we were talking about jQuery before. You're mentioning something called referral. I didn't know.
Yeah, HTTP refers $$ underscore server. HTTP.
For other stuff, yeah.
Okay.
That's it, so that redirects it on the server. So you're not going to paint the browser first, you're just going to redirect.
But you put up
I'll play around with it too.
a page that says in 5 seconds, and we're going to redirect you to another page.
Yeah, so Clark, he wants to update the database and then tell the browser to go to some other page. And he doesn't care about the waiting for 5 seconds necessarily. Set timeout? I don't know what that is.
JavaScript.
Is that a JavaScript?
Yeah.
Okay. So we've heard a lot about JavaScript, which I don't know a lot about.
You're doing web.
The two go hand in hand.
Okay, I know about PHP. Sorry.
They go hand in hand.
And they're very
When I did the ASP class, they so successfully hid JavaScript, from your knowledge, that it was amazing, because they did a lot of JavaScript for you in the background, but it was all kind of through the Visual Studio. You would set things up a certain way, and it would send down JavaScript to do certain things for you.
Was that Microsoft version? Or
Yeah, Microsoft's version.
MS C++ programmer, you have no problem with it.
I'm sure I could. I just haven't done a lot with it.
No, it would be because it's easier.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to talk about tonight securing applications. Now, this isn't going to be the whole everything about securing applications, but it'll be because it's a big topic, but it's a good start on securing applications. Your application will be a lot more secure after we talk about these things. We're going to use something called a header function that sends, and that's one of the things I told you about, Tim, was you can actually redirect the browser using a header. There's a conversation that goes on between the browser and the server that you typically don't know about. I mean, it's kind of handled by the server for you. The header function is your way to get into that conversation and direct that conversation. It has to happen before anything gets sent down to the browser from your page, or you get an error. So if you have one character that gets echoed down to the browser before your header function, you get an error message. So it's got to be the very first thing in your script. You can do all kinds of things with this. We're going to use it to do HTTP authentication with the header function. That's what's going to allow us to do that. It's going to tell the browser to put up a login dialog and accept a login and password and give it back to us. But there's other things you can do. You can redirect pages. You can tell the browser that the text coming down is text. It's not HTML. If you ever wanted to display HTML on a browser, not have it do the HTML. Yeah. Another way is to use, there's a header. You can say this is text, and you plop it down there, and it just tells the browser, don't interpret this as HTML. Just put it down there. Okay. We're going to look at the super global $_ That's how we're going to get the password, login and password information back from our HTTP authentication. Did we talk about require once last time?
Yes.
Never mind. I copied and pasted and didn't delete enough. You guys know everything there is about require once. There is numeric. We didn't talk about that. So, and you can kind of guess what that is. It'll check to make a field make sure it is numeric. Another attribute you can put on an SQL field in a database is a default value, so that if you add a record and you don't tell it what to put in the field, it will put this default value in for you. So it's a little bit like auto increment, except for it doesn't auto increment. It just puts in, it defaults the value for you, which is important for certain fields that require something in them, but you're not going to always add it. We're going to look at two functions used to thwart SQL injection. When should I talk about SQL injection? That's J down there. But let's talk about it now. SQL injection, we've had these text fields that we can enter things into. So if we just go to one of these forms that we have, we can enter text into these fields. That's what they're meant for. It turns out that what is a SQL query string? Oh, it's just text. You can basically inject SQL query syntax into your PHP program through that field. Well, how does that happen? Well, let's look at one of these simple examples.
I understand that, but then you have to be careful with, because that's how hackers get into your database.
It is how they can get in. So this is this real simple program. You do a connect. You've got three things you're getting out of your fields: the first name, last name, and email address. You insert it into your query string. But what is this right here doing? That's basically inserting a string into your query string, and it could be anything, any string. It could be part of another. It could extend your query. It could add other things to your query. It's just adding a string to the string you're building in your PHP program.
Is it not replacing the first name and the first set of parentheses?
It's replacing first name, but then you can stick in whatever you want in there. You could put in.
No, but what's in there, doesn't it replace the other first name?
The other first.
You go into it, email list, comma, first name.
Yes, it's going to go.
It goes there, doesn't it?
It will go there, except for I'm going to put a comma. I'm going to put an apostrophe that's going to end first name, and then I'm going to put a comma in my string, and then I'm going to put another field that's going to go into last name, all in this first name field.
Right.
And then I'm going to put something else in for the email address and bypass all the editing I might have done for those fields up here when I created them.
So I could put from in there and make it a SQL command.
So you could basically make it an SQL command. There's a way to put a comment at the end of a SQL command by putting 2 dashes, and that would make in your string here, that would just make the rest of this line, even though it's there, it would just make it into a comment. Now, it's a little bit hard to imagine how this specific line could be modified in a nefarious way. Okay, but this is how it could be done, and it could be done especially if you had said insert into email list star and didn't give the list. You just expected every piece of data to be there. Then you're basically giving carte blanche to somebody entering text into your fields.
Yeah, though I think the answer is changing into. insert into it, get to that.
Yeah.
That too there.
So there certainly are limitations to this, but there are certainly glaring examples of where people have hacked into databases by doing this kind of hack in databases. And we're going to talk about how to keep that out.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really pretty straightforward. It's not terrible. So one of the reasons we're talking about default value right now is because it's good to have a default value for all your database fields, so that your code, whenever it comes to that field, it's going to do exactly the right thing, and there's a chance that somebody could do some SQL injection and bypass a field, let's say, and not set anything in that field, and without a default, the field wouldn't get anything in it, and the rest of your PHP program may not work correctly because the field doesn't have it in it. But by telling the database that if you don't see this field in my insert, give it this value, you've kind of plugged that hole. Trim and MySQL real escape string are going to be two things that are going to help. Trim takes spaces out of a field. So a lot of times you see a space as a kind of a delimiter, and in a lot of fields you don't want any spaces in. You know, first name typically doesn't have spaces in it. Although I guess you could say some might, but trim is a way to basically it's going to take it, any leading and trailing spaces and everything following, it's going to take it out. MySQL real escape string takes the string and escapes anything that could be construed as an SQL character or SQL command, and escapes it so that SQL won't consider it a command character. So you pass it through that. All you do is pass it through this function. You get a string back that is functionally the same string. It'll do the same thing, but it's been purified, so that if there was any SQL syntax in there to try to corrupt your database, it will have escaped it, and that text will just get inserted into the database like they had typed it. Now, one of the ways that the book talks about in keeping your database secure or your application secure is to is human moderation. You see that a lot in forums. It's basically how do you keep stuff out of your database that's difficult to edit for, or the human eye is really the only thing that you can really do. And there's still a place for that in databases and in web applications. And typically it's done by somebody doing a submission, and then someone else having a screen that shows them all the submissions, and they have to go down and review it by eye, check it off, hit submit, say that's okay, and then it gets submitted to the database. So that's a valid way to check for stuff. We're going to use HTTP authentication in two different ways. I'm just going to show you two different ways to do it. To require a login to get to a certain page. So we've had an admin page in our application where we can change and delete records. We'll use authentication to be able to create a login for that page and require that login. The column/value query, all that is kind of a weird way to say be very explicit in your SQL queries. Spell it out. If you want to update these fields, spell out exactly the fields that you want to update with exactly the values that you want. As well as the last one, which is form validation. It's not just a nicety to do form validation. You'll catch, a lot of things just by validating a form, because an SQL statement doesn't look like a phone number. So form validation is just good practice to keep people out of your databases. Okay. We're going to talk about HT access, and we're going to get to it, I can tell. The HT access has really nothing to do with PHP, other than the fact that it runs on the server that runs PHP. And it also happens to use you can also have it do HTTP authentication for you. So I'm going to talk about how to do that. Yeah.
Is that going to work with other IIS?
There are ways. They have analogous kind of files. The HT access file is basically a way to modify the server's behavior for this directory and everything below it. And IIS has ways of doing that. Usually it's through its GUI, where you click on a directory and you'll give that directory certain attributes. I don't know. I don't think it has a .ht access file specifically. This is more going to be an Apache server thing.
That is Microsoft, whatever they do on redirects.
Do they allow redirects?
No, I know HT access is used a lot to redirect some URL, and they can be good to give you I would catch this term right. It's a human readable URL, but actually, really doesn't exist. So to speak.
Oh.
I'm just curious if you have a server.
I'm guessing that they do have it. Stephen was saying, there's, and basically my next comment about HT access is it does a ton of different things besides doing password protection. It does redirects, and Stephen was saying one of the ways it can do redirects is redirect you to a page and kind of clean up the URL for you so it looks more human readable without all the gobbledygook on it. Jeff created one to change his site so that he didn't have to name his PHP files with a .php. He could name them with a .html, and they would still execute as PHP files. And it just basically told the server, look at HTML files and process them like they were PHP files. But there's a lot of things you could do. You can deny certain visitors to your site, just not allow them to go there either by IP address or by where they came from. I'm not taking anybody from Google. That could be a lot of people.
Ferry access to our
Yeah, you could. I have this thing called Gradebook. Yeah, Tim.
That's sort of been the risk or the downside of doing something like this is that your applications and portals to another.
That's certainly a downside. The plus side of doing this authentication stuff that we're doing in PHP is that it's in your program. Okay, and so you take your program, put it someplace else. It's all there. The downside of when you see the way to do it in your program is it basically goes in every file that you want to have secured. You have to include a header in every file that you want secured. which is fine. I mean, it's not that big a deal. It's a couple lines, 1 or 2 lines. But you basically have to modify each file. Whereas with htaccess, you create a directory to put secure pages in. And you just by the fact that you put the page in that directory, it is now secure. It will now, if somebody tries to access that page, it will be, it won't be allowed unless it passes authentication. So. Okay. Some of the more common things, though, with htaccess is to define error documents. You want to have your own error document instead of whatever they put up. I noticed when I finally got the site fixed so that it worked for the first type of authentication that we're doing, I had to go into GoDaddy's, deep down into GoDaddy's menus to modify my site, and I had to disable fast CGI for PHP. I don't even know what that means, but it made, I had to do 3 different lines. I had to make a change. So I made the changes, and then I noticed later that there was a .htaccess added to my home directory that had 3 lines in it that disabled fast CGI. Okay, so basically they were modifying my site. They had to put a GUI on top of, you know, this htaccess file, and they had added that site for me, or that file for me. So it can do a lot of different things. It might have some, you know, I'm not sure this is a big deal. Because it's done directory by directory, there can be some performance impact on the server. I suppose if you know you've got a huge system with lots of files, with lots of different settings, that could impact the server. But it was mentioned on one of the pages that I read about htaccess that can affect it. Okay. So let's get into some of this stuff. Assignment 6. Okay, so let's go to HTTP authentication first. And that is done in the admin script here. Thanks, Mark. The only problem with having your phone ring is everybody gets to hear your ringtone.
Then everybody silent.
Yeah. So I said it's got to happen at the very beginning, this header stuff. Well, we put it into a include file or a require file, however you want to call it. And so the actual header statements are in this authorize.php. So let's go look at that. It's not too long. So this is what's included in every page that I want to be secure. You have to include this file in it. It's going to define 2 variables. Now, in this case, I'm defining it as rock and roll. The username is rock and the password is roll. Okay. Now, this isn't a requirement of HTTP authentication. This is just how this application happened to do it. It's a simple application. This username and password could be looked up in a database. Might be more likely in a big application is the username and password would be checked against a database. But the very first thing it does, it says, is server PHP auth user is it set? And the very first time this page is displayed, the answer is going to be no, because it hasn't had a chance to do any authentication yet. So it's going to fall down into this if statement. And the next thing it's going to do is send this header, these two headers. Basically, this header says, I want this page to be authenticated, and this one says, this is the realm for this authentication. So what the realm is used for is, let's say you've got levels of users and passwords that you want to keep for your database. You want this set of pages to use this set of passwords, and this set of pages to use a different set of passwords. You would give them a different realm. Okay? And once you've been authenticated for one realm, you're in. For every page that uses that realm. It's not going to ask you again during that session. You have to like blow away the browser and come in with a new browser to for it to prompt you for the password again. Now, if the person hits basically puts in the password and says, okay, it drops out of this and goes back to the top. Okay, this is the part of this that doesn't make a lot of sense to me, because it, in programming you would think it just follows through no matter what, but it doesn't. During this header processing, once the person has entered the password and the username and password, it goes to the top and then says, is server set? And it's going to say, oh yeah, set this time. Is the password set? Oh yeah, the password's set this time. Is the username rock? Yeah, the password's rock. Is the password roll? Yeah, it's roll. It's going to skip the if statement and fall down and execute the rest of the page. So, what it looks like when you actually do this is assignment 6. So if we go to the admin page, the two sets of headers make this dialog pop up. Now if I put in Terry and the password, and it's the wrong one, oops, let's go back here. It didn't match in here, so it goes back and redoes the header again and displays it again. So I'm back to this page again. If I hit cancel, it says, sorry, you must enter a valid username and password. Where'd that come from? Yeah, it hits the exit statement. And that exits PHP and doesn't go to your page.
If you have multiple people you want to be able to administer this page, how would you set that up?
You'd have to look at a list of people. I mean, or you'd have to put those people into a list, into a file, and open the file and read it and compare it. This part in here, you could do this is set, and then the part that basically does the comparison could be accessing a database and comparing what the what the username and password was, and compare it to what it is in your database. And then if it doesn't match anything in your database, you would then just issue the exit yourself, or just issue an exit.
You have to replace. I'm not sure what you mean. Which code do you replace with the calls to the database?
I think what you do is you break apart this if statement. So it's all in one if statement right now, and you'd probably do this part of the if statement in the first part, just to see if it's set. And if they are set, okay, you would drop in and open up your database and look them up and see if they're valid. And if they're not valid, you would do the headers again. This syntax of this is not forthright to me. So if we go into this again, and you do put in the right passwords, it passes over this if statement and just exits, which goes back to here and just does the rest of this page, which is just a normal page. Okay. Good on that? Okay. Take a break. Okay, we'll be back at 5 after. And I'm going to learn how to pause the recording this time.
What do you mean, just general?
Get some tools.
Login or something. It's just a clinical tutorial, not only on how to create a login site, how to organize that with all the things so easily that's what I actually and the guy
I'm afraid to stop it. I want to erase it for you.
You won't need all the I think I watched.
Yeah, you'd think there would. You'd think it'd be under there, right? That's where there's a checkbox, but I don't know. I'm afraid to uncheck it. I'm afraid it's going to like start a whole new recording or something. I didn't add an index entry, so it said break. Now I had another one that says end of break.
There's no stop either.
I don't see that stop either.
I originally searched in YouTube and then someone that site and just went through the whole thing.
Yeah.
They registered money. Yeah, that's really great.
Which site was that?
It's called PHP Academy, and the tutorial is called Register and Log, and it's like a whole education, building a site.
PHP Academy.
Yeah. Not only that, but you'll learn good programming practice as far as how to break up your page within. That's actually what I learned all the images stuff like this for my home page, and how to break it up and organize it. All the security issues, just really good.
And they use database.
Yes,
or something.
Academy.org.
Yeah, you set it up there right now. Yeah, it's all the same components we're using in class, but not doing it that way. It's using the database and then checking the database and all the ways to vary your code so people can get it. Well worth watching for bouncing through it.
How long are each of them?
They vary. Some of them are 4 minutes, some of them are 10 minutes. Not very long, very doable, and the guys are really clear and really easy to understand. And there's a few things you can download to help you, like pre-made HTML pages and stuff to help you build it up. And then link it up to
Injection workers.
Yeah, because it's looking for, it says there's 4 variables coming in, and then you have a string out here built up. It's using those certain delimiters in the code to know when it hits the right value. So it's written, your key is pretty, your key is how sneaky it is.
It's on the form of drop table. Yeah, there's example.
Because it's kind of going on. Make it go out, make it on the newspaper, see what's on the newspaper.
All these have this text, so it's looking for 4 variables, and you've got them all in your first entry. It's going to stop after it leaves the store, and it didn't even be able to build.
Updating photo, because it's simple.
Because it's about 3 hours of checking of your data.
I thought it looks like it's almost done. Is it done? It looks like it's done.
Mine started, yeah, but I finished it yesterday, but.
What hung out?
Well, all the checking you have to do, there's,
an idea.
They can fish around and say,
when you
idea of what is
move the file, for example,
and then it's all about getting
Must be a lot of
if you're
files.
replacing an existing file, and you also have to worry about, well, do you want to remove the one that they fixed before? You do that. If that same file name is used by someone else, you don't want to delete it.
I was wondering if somebody was going to catch it.
Yeah, I took care of that.
The one way to handle that kind of thing is you make the file and
on the rich.
Yeah, sure.
every time they upload it, you make it.
Yeah, but then when they were able to, because they don't know what
They don't necessarily need to know what file name is. You might want to leave enough of their file name in there so that they can reconstruct it if you have it file name.
And then the browser, the security won't allow it to reload. So when you go to edit the form, you can't fill in the photos for the name of the file that you so to get around that, I made the photo option.
There's whole industries where all that we do is kind of,
And that adds
trying to be
there's some other, the other thing I ended up, I'll use some more functions from what I to look
I do like that kind of thing.
It made a
challenge I returned was
just a response that they returned from several languages with a validation function.
Yeah.
And there's different fields in the class that I check if it's valid.
Yeah.
When I check if I find some part of it's wrong, I create a message. And so I can, instead of having to recheck that, you know, when I did it before, I was just using a Boolean, is it valid, yes or no? And then if I wanted to say what's wrong in your message, I have to recheck that. So this way I only check it once and fill in the message when it's validated.
and then they just print that out if it's not valid.
Yeah, we have a big application at work where the error is basically a message. This error object basically contains the message, and if the object contains no error, you're okay.
Such as, yeah, I've done that before too. Yeah, this one's a little more.
Oh, okay.
And one case I'm actually returning some data in addition to whether it's, if it's valid, I return data. But anyway, you'll probably see that or should look at it.
Yeah. Now, you use functions, and you're the ones that have these global statements.
No, I don't think it's close.
Somebody said that. I'll have to go look and see who did that.
I don't use quite a lot. Not in this, I did in a previous website, but not in this one.
So you guys will need this.
Then scaling the pictures, because the pictures can be different sizes. You wanted all the rows to be the same height.
Oh, I noticed that. That was cool the way they. Yeah, Stephen did that too. Stephen is. You done with yours, Stephen?
Yeah. The hardest part was getting
Getting Ajax to work.
I noticed a lot of them
We have 3D
are not used.
Yeah.
Do you have any plans to remove the ones that are like people like drop the class or something?
Yeah, I keep thinking I'm going to. So you resize the pictures too, Stephen?
I made them all the right proportion. I did put them up there so that they would fit.
So if somebody else comes along and they have a big one?
Well, not necessarily a big one, it's at a different proportion.
Yeah.
So in other words, if it's a long one, right, well, the width's going to get shrunk down to that size.
So you just specify the width.
Well, you have to specify the width. Okay, so if it's really long, once it gets shrunk down, you're going to end up with a blank space underneath it, right? If you do width and height, then you end up with a sleeve, sleeve look at the picture. But I think you mentioned, there are functions and stuff to resize, but now you're getting kind of complicated because not only would you resize, is you got to somehow ask yourself, how am I going to crop this thing?
It's probably easier than one line.
And you only have one picture. Oh, there's some more pictures. Awfully ugly pictures. Okay.
So my no picture is the one of the dogs they have uploaded.
Oh, that's your default picture?
That's my default picture.
Okay.
For all the height settings.
Okay, so when you have the white space around some of those pictures, you were doing height, right?
I do both width and height, so I scale proportionally.
Okay,
Then
then
I think
why did you
you're
have white space? Try to just stay in the box.
I'm sizing the height instead of
Yeah, that's what I meant. So in other words, I'm switching down whatever.
some of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this guy got kind of squashed.
No, that's.
I know. No. Okay. Cool.
Sometimes to find out to figure out some of the pictures that we can use.
Show what happens when the page doesn't valid.
That like the ad page?
Yeah, just click a row. No, well, you can do that. Just click a row. And then take out the first name.
So how did John? Oh, John is what was there originally?
That's the tooltip type.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks better from
Sounds surprising. Everything is better than Chrome.
Everything looks better in Chrome.
It's flexible.
You can use the actual.
If you look at those rounds,
No, I
corners,
I
Yeah.
on a page where it goes dot, 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 dot. In Chrome, it keeps the dot.
So it actually keeps the dots?
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't know why, Firefox or whatever.
Well, I was doing that until we had the.
So, whose picture is that? That was not mine. It's on my site. I've been hacked.
SQL injection.
Must be SQL injection, yeah.
It's copyrighted, double scroll.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it is.
I
DreamStim.
don't know, you better get that off there before you get in trouble.
Oh my gosh. I have had a few worries about these sites up here on GoDaddy because, you know, especially the ones that, their examples were emails, you know, email lists. I mean, people would love to have an email list server to send emails out kind of anonymously, so it's good not to have it. We can, if anybody gets cold, we can close the door anytime. Okay, so the other way to do HTTP authentication is with an HT access file.
There's a question.
Okay.
Our assignment, do we have a choice of how we're going to do this, or?
No. You have to do it the first way. And then if you want to do the other way, you can either put it in a separate directory underneath, which is what I did. Okay. Or just comment out the PHP
Are
one.
we going to do the server authentication instead?
Next week is kind of sessions and that kind of thing. Yeah, that's what next week is. Pretty much, yeah. So if you know, we go to this. Looks a lot like the first one I showed you. In fact, it looks exactly like the first one I showed you. This is different because I put in a different zone in the htaccess file. So I created a directory and put an htaccess file in it to create this authentication. And I just stuck the PHP admin file there without that header file in it. And I just stuck it in that directory. And so whenever I try to go to it, it's going to do exactly the same thing. Very similar. So you can, in this case, the password, the login is admin, and the password is password. Gets to the page. So it looks the same. It's doing the same HTTP authentication method, but the server's handling it for you instead of doing the headers and then you getting back the login and password and then you checking it. So how does it do that? The two pieces, the first piece is the htaccess file itself. The first name is that zone that we were talking about before. It's also what you saw in the dialog. It's in admin security. It's called the auth name. The auth type is basic in this case.
This is not correct.
But there is a .ht access file, but that's not the right one. Okay, Justin, I'm going to see if this works.
Is this in the book?
No. That's what I was going to ask you. Are you going to publish this, or do I need to start writing?
I sent you to, on the lecture notes, there's a link to a web page that just talks just about passwords and HT access.
Not with this content. Can you just post this
Your
policy or
HT file, so we can look at the HT access file.
Let me show you this page. I think it's going to answer your questions. Maybe. It should have everything you need. Let's not go back to. Where did I put it? Oh. I went by it. It's right there. Reading. Chapter 6 and this guy. There's if you search for, yeah, I know this. If you search for HT access, you're going to get a gazillion hits on the web, and so there's lots of good sites out there about HT access files and stuff. This one looked pretty good to me, pretty simple. This is the whole page. It's just this much. It's just about password protection, this page is, so it explains about the format of the file. It's got the same content here that you guys will need. That's the auth file. It's different, slightly different order. Auth file. We're basically not using auth group file. There's the auth name. They just put enter password, but it can be anything. Auth type is basic. The require user, it basically has two types. You can require a specific user, and what that does is it requires a specific user or list of users that is in this file. Okay, so you have to have this file too. So this comes in two parts. You need the .ht access and the .ht password. It doesn't really have to be called .ht password since you're pointing to it here. It's a file of logins and passwords.
Since we're not using the group, can you just leave it out?
I don't know. Try it.
Can we restrict our own type of HT password?
You're going to have to create one.
Okay.
You're going to have to create one for your site with your logins and password. Now, I asked you to put at least one in there called admin and password so I can try it without looking in your file. In fact,
What's the big password for it?
password.
And that'll be for all
That's
of us.
so easy.
Easily check.
Yeah, I want everybody to put admin and password in there so I can check to see if you can get in. Yeah, Nikki.
So I know that there's an issue file of down the page, only for Apache. So if we use our HTML file, like, that would be right.
Yeah, it adds to it.
Okay.
It doesn't override it. So, well, it might override it if you were to override some setting that was in the server's version of it. So you could override it, but this kind of stuff wouldn't be in the server's version. So you're, and the server does have the ability to allow it or not allow it. So the administrator of the server can say, I'm not going to allow people to override my .ht access files. But generally you're right. And generally what you do is you're going to add by directory more. So on this, you can require a specific user that's in this password file, or you can just require that there is a valid user in the password file. Okay, so that's the two values that you can have in that file. So in my case, I said require valid user, So I was going to try Justin's deal here. This did work over next door.
Yeah, no, it should. I just never.
Oh, see, look at that. Works great.
Works almost just like the other one. Just simple and easy and all.
Zero light from
So I'm actually going and
Sweep away the portable workers and the regular doesn't go around the school. Sweep away the portable versions things work and the regular doesn't go around the school.
so I'm going to go to let's look at this .html access. So when I said the auth user file wasn't correct, that's correct. Okay. Now, and I got that from that PHP info command. That's where I got that long path to where my page was. So.
Is that for your login or for all of us?
Well, everything. I think that's going to be the same, except for the look for Terry part.
The about page that you create in the file where you're going to put this, and it'll tell you.
Yeah, that's true. The PHP info.
If you put it in that same place.
I think yours will be HTML PHP 3955.
What if you just put a .ht password without the whole path?
Didn't work. I tried it.
It has to be an absolute path.
And it said specifically on this page, it has to be an absolute path. If you read through this. So I tried it without it. I tried it with a not absolute path. What?
That's a relative?
Relative path. // I tried // and .. when I put it just one above, and I couldn't find a combination that works. If you do, email me and I'll let folks. But which one?
Just the page you just pulled off.
Okay. So it's var at chroot home content 23 970 975023. And I'm going to tell you wrong. 9750523 HTML. Okay. Got that? Okay. So let's go up and look at the actual HT password file. You're going to love this. What the heck is that? Encrypted passwords. That's exactly right. So that's admin is the login, colon says the next thing is the password, and then the password encrypted. So that is password encrypted. I mean the word password encrypted.
If you change it, either 0 and asterisk, it'll let you come back and ask for your password.
Excuse me? What?
If you change the password to 0 or asterisk, I don't remember exactly which one it was, it will then ask you for new password.
Oh, okay.
If you have the permission rights to back out.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to pertain to this, because I don't think PHP will, or the server will write this file back out, that kind of thing. Now, how do you get this file? How do you get this password? Well, there's lots of tools out on the web to do it. This page at pointed you to etc directory. There's a way to do it. Okay. There's a handy dandy tool right up here. Okay. So you can put in a username.
What type of encryption?
It's the kind that Linux uses. I don't know the actual name of it, but it's the kind that Linux has a PASSWD file that it basically keeps all of its Linux login passwords for. Same encryption method that it uses for that. So I'll type in a password that says, and for this little tool, you can put in the path to the site. And then you can say submit. And it actually builds your little htaccess file. You can just cut and paste it out of here. But you can just type it with an editor too and FTP it up there. You don't, you know. But it did this. That's the part that's difficult to do on your own. So there is the login Terry : and that was that here today password encrypted.
Now it gave you a relative path, correct? And I can change that.
That's not relative.
Terry?
That's not relative.
Well, it's not the one you had before where it starts off at root and then goes to...
I typed in just something. I didn't type in a true path. You know, I was back at this page. I just typed. It's going to give you whatever you type in there, and all it does is give you kind of a template for that file.
So you have to type it again.
You have to type the absolute file, unless Jeff figures out that there's some way to put a relative file in. I was not able to do it. So don't burn up too much time doing it. Okay. So the advantage of the htaccess file is you can just drop PHP files in there, and they'll all be password protected. Just have to put links to it; it'll do it. And the password management is relatively secure. There's a file on your site with these encrypted logins and passwords. Now that should be in a pretty safe spot in your site. So if you've got a directory that you actually allow users to look at the files in, you don't want this file there. Okay. So it should be in a secure area on your site. But it is, all the passwords are encrypted. They're not going to be able to know what the passwords are. They'll know what the users are, but not what the passwords are.
If you were using a database, you would be using this strings to look it up.
I think you need it on that page though, right, for it to find it.
You need what?
It uses this password page to find those. So
So
if
this
you
is
store,
still more secure.
if you store this in the database, they would have to all be in there, or you'd have to use PHP to manipulate the text file.
Without logging in.
Well,
Typing that information that you were having. Okay.
yeah, I think the way I understood, yeah, I think Stephen's question was, if I want to put my logins and passwords in the database, I probably wouldn't use this technique at all.
Oh, okay, I see. I
Yeah.
wonder though if you could just pull them out of the database and then use PHP to alter the text of the
Actually,
alter
still
the
would
text
want to use
file and
this.
just insert them in before you launch the page.
Yeah,
I would assume you
possibly you could.
PHP save on that.
Yeah. So Justin was just saying, if you wanted to keep all your login and passwords in your database, you could read your usernames and passwords out of the database, stuff them into this an HT password file, and then try to display the page, and they would be in the right place. And you'd allow that. Then you'd allow the server to do all of the authentication and all that kind of stuff. So that would be one way to kind of use both ways of doing it.
Once I guess the server, you have all of your files in one directory, and once the domain is the same for all those, the server is doing all that, housekeeping, or it's keeping track of.
Right, the server's keeping track that the same guy's logged on, and so that you don't get hit with the login again. And it turns out, in the other method, the same thing happens. Even though you're going through that same code, if you display another page with the same zone, it won't display the password page, even when you're doing it through that the headers that's in the file. The server keeps track. Oh, this guy already passed authentication. I don't need. He's already okay. So you go back to the same page twice. It won't ask you twice, or even another page that's got the same zone.
Is there another way to protect? One case, I just wanted to be there to protect some included files. So if somebody knows, say, the include directory, which is in the main directory, they go to try to directly access that with this intercept.
Yeah, there's a couple different ways to do that. Through the htaccess file, you can just deny directory listing of any directory, okay, so they can't get a directory listing of a certain.
Right. What they actually know.
What do you mean? What does that mean?
Know that the URL, let's say, is one of these files.
Okay.
Would this prevent that?
Only if you've got an htaccess file that requires them to log in.
On each direct subdirectory, or just in the main one?
Just in the main one. Yeah, it's that directory and everything below it. It's protected. Okay. So let's look at any other questions about HTTP authentication. Okay. We'll go to somewhere else here.
And this way would also protect from people developing a worm and trying to get your directory pattern. Like a web crawler.
Oh, by not allowing them to do a directory listing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The way you're using the htaccess and that, it would block a web crawler from getting that information.
I would expect so. They'd have to come in through the server and display the pages. Yep.
Do the web crawlers work by actually looking at the files, or do they actually run them through HTTP? Yeah.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you want them to have access to your files so that you get, search engine priority.
Yeah, I really don't know. I'm guessing they're gonna have to come in through HTTP.
Well, you can get special information from Google and all that.
What do you mean?
To get like Google search engine permission to get in there. I want to be surprised.
Yeah.
So you'd allow Google, but not.
You might allow Google, but not somebody else.
The idea would be to trigger to allow all the major known search engines.
Yeah. I'm not sure about that. You're supposed to know everything. I know. Sorry, I've been at this long enough that I know I don't know everything. Ask me a C++ question, all right? Quick.
Usually you could be a jack of all trades, but not anymore.
Not anymore. It's pretty broad. Yeah, you're going to find more and learn that. Let's just look at some of the SQL injection techniques or prevention techniques. Okay, so that here is the MySQL real escape string. It's embedded. Notice you have to pass it to DBC, so you have to have an open database because it's a MySQL function. And you pass it a string which happens to come out of the trim. Okay, but just to, again, the trim, you have to be a little careful in that you may want to allow spaces in your field. If you do, then you're not going to be able to use trim all by itself.
And that trim took it off the front and back. That's everything nice.
That's right.
Everything else.
It leaves space.
Okay. I think you're right.
You want to have trim right and trim left.
The other thing that's kind of significant, some of this isn't new, it's just editing for things. Makes your application more resilient from hacking, just editing all the different fields.
So how does that MySQL real estate string parse that one that's in the book and know that that's illegal? The one where it adds the extra termination and adds the extra columns that closes the query. How does that actually do it?
Yeah, I think that's what it does.
It takes out all the punctuation that is referenced in the parentheses and different things where that's might be the same, where at the end of the variable, consider that a variable and then convert it into a value or whatever. This would make a difference. But this way it just strips all of that out, and then when it puts it in the database, you can see the whole thing of the string, and I think that with the punctuation, the escape stuff. Right? You can just take the punctuation. And this is you know, like if you were to take all the brackets out of HTML, all of a sudden it would just be there.
So here's some examples. Here's the encoded characters: a null, end of line, return, commas, primes, quotes, all those things you need around fields, that kind of thing in SQL are escaped, so they can't be used. Their example here. Yeah, I'm not sure. They had an example down here where, what was it? Oh, here they wanted to insert this text into the database, but it has this apostrophe in it, so it escapes the apostrophe and allows it to be inserted. This query will fail because of the apostrophe that's in here. But if you do the escape string, it won't fail. I'm not sure it skips it as much as it escapes it, so that it doesn't have SQL meaning. I think it actually gets put in the database.
That's interesting. That doesn't have the DBC in the folder of real estate.
It's using, I don't know what's it called.
Oh, it's using a class. Gotcha.
Yeah. Okay.
One below that is where
Right, okay.
Yeah, here. Yeah. Okay. There's the way we do it right there. Okay. Trims. What else was I going to say about this? I think that's about it. Let's see what else is up here. I think we've covered it. Let's just go to the assignment for 6. Starts out the same. Copy 5 to 6, so I can grade 5 while you're working on 6. Allow adding or registering with no login, kind of like it does right now. So hopefully that won't be hard. Add HTTP authorization to change or delete, and delete. That's the only thing that's required. Although use trim and MySQL real escape string appropriately, and editing in the add script and the appropriately.
You got a misspelled word in there on the bottom.
I probably have more than one.
You have more instead of move.
What is that?
No.
What was I saying there?
The English version.
Is that the English version?
At the very end. But you may have 2 more files up around.
Move. You wanted to say move. No, you need
Very end of that line.
more files or something.
Very end of the last one.
We may move files around.
You may have to move. You may have to
More.
more files around. You may have to move files around. Yeah.
I think
So-
what you meant is you need more files.
No.
No?
Well,
Why
yeah.
move around?
To put them in a secure directory. Okay.
The login to use manual.
Well, my
Take the whole thing is like one big, admin function.
my thought behind it was that you want people logging in and registering for Little League, but then you have somebody else doing administration to the database.
Right, but that's
Okay, so I was thinking you would leave the add screen kind of open so that anybody could register for a Little League, but then
you have a whole separate, file over here, and over here. Type of thing.
well, you could. Well,
What you're creating the and what you specify.
either put the ad in a separate place or put the rest of it in a separate place, whichever you want to do, or
You want 2 spots.
just use the HTTP authentication
For the whole works.
for the whole works. Just use the little header file thing. This is just extra credit, and you don't have any problem. You don't need any extra credit, Stephen. So.
But I'll try all of these things.
Well, then you can put one of your files. You can replicate your whole application in a secure directory.
That's what I was,
Yeah.
yeah, that's what I was,
Yeah, you can try it.
I'm just register one page, ask information validates and then displays it.
Does the ad do that as well?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
all, would it be okay if I just blocked the 3rd time with the login? It wouldn't make sense for a real website to be that way, but it would make sense.
What do you mean by the 3rd time?
Well, after I validate,
Yeah.
it displays everything, and there is no admin or second pages or anything. It's all one page.
Oh, okay.
Would it be all right if I just used authentication on the 3rd step through, where you would be able to delete and change?
Sure, that's fine. I just want to be able to see that you practice doing this stuff.
If it works on my site, because that's all Ajax, so headers, I don't know how headers work.
Yeah, the biggest clinker with headers that I found is when I was trying to debug this issue with GoDaddy and trying to get them to work and all that kind of thing, boy, if anything goes down, if Ajax takes over and sends something down to the browser before you have control or something like that, it's going to screw up the header stuff. Yeah. So that was the one key, and it did. PHP threw up its hands and said, "You've already sent data down. I can't do this header function." Got an error.
But the model that we've done for this sublog is that the user comes and signs up, and then they realize maybe their phone number's changed or they've changed their email. They don't have a way to change it themselves. They have to have the admin to operate.
In our application, that's true.
If we were to change this application, would we then maybe require that they created a login before they registered? And that way each user could log into their data?
Why? Let's do that next week. Yeah, see, that would be a great use of a session and logging in and remembering who I am. I mean, the name of the next chapter is "Remember Who I Am." You know, and that's a lot of websites nowadays. You get there.
Your own data and nobody else.
Yeah, you get your own data. Gosh, go to Amazon. It remembers me. Treats me like an old friend. Takes my money.
It's going to charge a sales tax. That's a whole different second list of friends.
The way Amazon remembers is by writing cookies onto your client.
Yeah, and that's how I think that's what we're going to learn next time. Next time is going to be, I think, cookies. This time is just password protecting pages. That's all we did. We're not really remembering anything on the browser or anything like that. So next time, we'll talk about expiring cookies and that kind of thing. Yeah,
Can you use header function for redirecting?
Yeah. Let's see how easy it is to find. PHP, Now look what it's doing too. So this is it's making a liar out of me, because this, to me, this example, this is wrong. It's going to send that HTML down to the browser.
It's going to give you an error.
Oh, this will give an error. Note the output above, which is before the header call. Sorry, that didn't make me a liar. So you got to do this without anything above the header call.
Any HTML.
Yeah. I mean, if you just put in a space character in the file, before your :PHP, that's going to get sent down to the browser. And it's going to mess things up. Notice what they did here. They went ahead and put the exit in. Make sure nothing else executed on this page, because we've redirected to another page. That would be kind of.
What does exit do?
It's the way you end your PHP program.
This other PHP educated further down.
If there were other PHP commands, or you could fall through farther in the file and there's another open PHP, it's not going to go there. It's going to exit right here. It's done.
What does that mean, exit?
just meet the
Takes a PHP process.
And then once they go over
That's all it returns.
Remember I said, you know, there's oblivion. Once the browser is got the page,
This is the entire page.
yeah, once the browser's got the page, there's nothing on the server. There's nothing going on the server. Yeah, it's what is the server doing when the browser is just sitting there and a user staring at it? Basically, there's no connection between you and the browser at that point. And that's kind of the state, after you do this exit, that's the state the server's in. No connection.
My list page,
Mhm.
and page wherever, and I go to change page where I've got some PHP in there, and somewhere or other, I can see an exit. What's going to happen in that scenario? Well, I can see.
You won't see
that.
you won't see anything.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because at that point, nothing will get sent down to the browser.
Unless you have some echo spaces.
So remember, your PHP is all executing up in the server. It's way over here on the server. The browser's down here. It's over here executing. It's building strings in your page and all that kind of stuff. And when it's done, it ships it down to the browser. Well, how does it know it when it gets done? It either gets to the end of the file, much like an HTML file. When you're at the end of the HTML, it sees the closed bracket of the HTML. It's done. Sends it down. Or it gets to the exit. If it's executing PHP and it gets to the exit, the server says, I'm at the end of this file. It's done. It'll ship whatever it's done so far. Yeah. So far, yeah, it'll ship whatever it's done so far down, but then it'll be done.
And it goes away.
And basically it goes away.
But HTML that came after that would get skipped off.
HTML, everything skipped after that. HTML, everything.
So when it's processing, is it sending pieces of a page down as it gets them, or does it wait till it has a full page and finishes and then sends it?
I really don't know. I'm guessing it probably gets it all and sends it in one chunk. Because just the state of the internet, just the protocols. I know a lot about the protocols that are used and that kind of thing. And there's a lot of throughput on the internet, but there's also a lot of latency. And what that means is it can do chunks of data, move chunks of data around the internet really pretty fast. But little tiny conversations where it has to go back and forth and say, yes, I have it. No, these conversations. Give me another piece. Let's go back and forth. It's not efficient at doing that kind of thing. That latency is a long time. So my guess is that the server's going to buffer it all up, get it ready, send it down in one chunk. Is it? So generally, it's just one chunk. Jeff?
I just wanted to mention something that I found to be very useful. And that is if you do run your own local server, to go look at the server log file, because you can find a lot of things that your scripts might be doing wrong. PHP errors, for example. So every time when I'm working on a homework assignment, I'm checking that.
Okay.
And I've found a lot of things that I should have done better. And
so they didn't cause catastrophic errors, but
well, sometimes it does. Like if the page just doesn't do what I'm expecting, that's the first place I go to look.
Okay.
Because usually it means I've got something wrong with the script. But it's also informative because I'll see things like such and such isn't defined, and that means that I'm referencing it somewhere on the page. But because it's only defined in a section of this code, maybe it's not initialized. So it's really helpful in this process of developing the pages to check that log file.
Okay. Jeff was saying that as a help in developing, and debugging things, it's nice to be able to run your own server because you can look at the server logs. And the server logs will be reporting things that's happening with the PHP that when you're running only on a remote server, you don't have access to. That's a good point.
I don't suppose we have access to the server logs on
I don't know. I don't think so. I've never seen a place. I've prowled around that site looking for stuff quite a bit. On GoDaddy? I don't think so. But, yeah, but heck, Justin's given us an easy way to do easy PHP here. Both of these guys, which were Justin's examples of portable applications that basically run a server on your computer without installing anything.
Doesn't install. Portable. All of those are portable.
So,
if it's not loading code to run the server, it has to. It all runs out of the Bible and this file system. It's all just here, but it's still loading something on the computer. They don't leave it separate. You can get a rid of one function. Look that further around. So, you could put it out of memory.
Oh yeah, it'll run some RAM memory, but there's no files in your C drive, no registry keys, nothing like a normal install. It's when you leave the program, you leave the computer, it's completely gone.
yeah, so the conversation here that's been going on is, what the heck are portable applications? And I think the bottom line is they're designed so that they run off a thumb drive. They don't affect the system that they're on. They don't affect the disk drive that's on the system or the registry. It kind of creates a shell around itself and runs, and which is nice to have that kind of thing and not have it affect everything else.
Small on your computer.
Yeah, and this is on an 8 gig drive.
Yeah, but I think the whole thing is 24 instead of
Yeah. So I've used bits and pieces of it. My only problem is I haven't gotten it to run in Wine yet on a Linux box, but
there's a lot of errors, things I didn't finish the question.
That shouldn't say that.
Yeah, it should be the Dropbox site.
Okay. So anyway, there are easy ways to get that kind of stuff up.
Well, we've got it in your thumb drive that creates all the same things that actually would on the internet. You can do the access files and everything exactly the same as you would on GoDaddy. It doesn't persist after you stop. XAMPP is a full-blown version.
It actually does persist after you stop.
It has its own file.
It has its own file system on the thumb drive. So you unplug it. You just have to have a computer that you can plug it into.
XAMPP is the one next to its full feature, just like you can install an Apache server. Using PHP is more limited, but the processor and the memory is the only thing that's using that. Yeah, I think that's what we use. It's amazing. I think it's pretty amazing. You can take almost any application, most applications, and make them portable. There's one program, then solve.
Okay. Any other questions, comments? Cal, Clark, looks like we lost John already, so gone to bed. You can when you log in. Okay. Great. See you next week. Talk about sessions.